So let's begin today. So by the end of the webinar, you should be able to use two strategies to plan your short talk. And then you should be able to clearly introduce your topic, use useful language so that you can link your ideas, and then describe a place you visited. So obviously there's lots of different topics, but you can use this to help you plan a number of different topics, okay? We'll talk about that in a minute. So, overview. So read the topic card. So have a look at the topic card. Okay. So you want to have a look at the previous slide. So there it is. So these are the aims of the class, okay? Rajendra Kumar. So there's the topic card, all right? Right, so we'll look at the overview. So in part two, you're given a topic by the examiner. I'm sure most of you know that if you've been preparing well. And then you have time to prepare, and then you need to speak at length about the topic, okay? So sometimes we call this the long term. Yeah, a lot of teachers will say, describe it as the long term or the topic card. Okay, so we look at some true or false questions. Okay, so see if you can answer these. See how much you know about part two for the speaking test. So the topic is related to a personal experience. So is that true or false? True, 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 true. Lots of people saying true. Yeah, good. You have 2 minutes to prepare. False. Ooh, there's a mixture coming through here. Yeah. Okay, so that's false. You need to speak for 2 minutes. Yeah, yeah. See, yeah. Fail, Maham, yeah, good. So that's true. You cannot make notes. You cannot make notes. Shane, false, yeah. Ali Khan, Cheesma, yeah, okay, good. So false. Whoops, we go back. Yeah, false. You must cover all the points on the question card. You must cover all the points on the question card. Okay, yeah, yeah. So quite a mixture coming through. So that's false. So remember, the examiner is going to base his or her rating on your performance across the whole test. So even if you don't complete everything, you can still get a good score, all right? You need to finish your story before the time is over. So you need to finish your story before the time is over. Okay, so mixture coming through. So that's false. Again, you don't necessarily have to finish it before it's over. You need to tell a funny story to get a high score. You need to tell a funny story to get a high score. Okay, absolutely not. Okay. Yeah, false. The examiner will ask you a follow-up question after your talk. Now, I'm assuming some of you have already taken the test. Pachu, yeah. Sadaston, Uvarani, yeah. So the examiner will ask you one follow-up question. You should give a long, detailed answer for this follow-up question. So, true, false. Durga says false. Shakat Z says true. Okay. Okay. So you don't have to give a long, detailed answer for this follow-up question. If you do, the examiner is likely to interrupt you. Okay. So you just have to answer it quite concisely. You don't need to go on and on and on and on about answering it. So this is the link between ending the part 2 and moving on to part 3. Okay. So, oops, the questions in part 3 are related to your part 2 topic. Okay. Okay. True. Okay, yes, all of those questions will be related to the part 2 topic card. Before you start planning, spend around 30 seconds choosing the specific topic you want to talk about. Okay. Yeah, false, that would be too long. Okay, so choosing your topic. So you want to be quick. You don't want to waste too much time thinking about what you're going to say. And this you should have already, through your preparation, had a look at some of the topics that are being used at the moment in the tests. Now, remember, the British Council are going to change the booklets also, but you want to have some idea about what topics are being used. So that means you can review the topics and you can develop some vocabulary and what you might talk about. And then you can change it a little bit. Yeah, you can adapt it slightly. And then you want to think of something that's memorable. So something in your experience that's going to be memorable. Okay. So let's have a look at a few pictures and see what words or expressions you could use to describe these. So what about this one? How would you describe this? Soothing, yeah. Mount Everest, well, I don't think Everest's there. Cloudy, magnificent. Peace, or maybe we'd say peaceful. Gorgeous, yeah. Anything else? Stunning, yeah. Nordic, ooh, not quite Nordic. Fascinating. Picturesque, scenic, yeah, good. Breathtaking, okay, good. Mysterious, okay. Beautiful, yeah, good. Okay, let's have a look at another one. So what about this? How would you describe this one? Eye-catching. Yeah. Now, looking at this city, is it a new city? Beautiful, yeah. Amazing views. Do you think it's a new city? Yeah, the architecture, well done, yeah. Idyllic, aesthetic. Ancient, yeah. Alaba, I think that was. Good. Historical city, yeah. Good, well done. What about this one then? Calm, tranquil, yeah, that's good for the city, yeah. What about this one? Cloudy, yeah. Putran, yeah, maybe a lot of nightlife. Well-known city. What do we call a big city where you have lots of people from different cultures living there? Begins with an M. Well hit, modern, yeah. Exotic, Shaku, yeah. Modern, yeah. Good, yeah. Jagdish, modern, good. Vibrant, Vrishali, yeah, good. Okay, what about the last one? What would be walking through there? Vivek, yeah, the previous one might be expensive, Sini. Well, we could call it not, yeah, Metropolitan Francis, yeah. Yeah. Pachu Pachu, yeah, we could say they were skyscrapers, yeah. Last one, yeah, Sandra, lush greenery, palace, serene, yeah. Peaceful, Jonas, yeah, good. A pleasant path, yeah. I guess fresh air, nature, natural, greenery. Okay, very good. Right. So sometimes it's going to be a little bit tricky to describe something for 2 minutes. Yeah. So you need to make sure that your planning is good. So it keeps you on track of what you're going to talk about. So that's why planning is really important. So there's a couple of ways you can do that, which we'll look at. Okay, so planning your talk. So it helps you speak for 2 minutes because you've got a logical sequence. Yeah. And it also helps you to develop your ideas. And also, it's going to increase your fluency and your accuracy when you're speaking because you're going to go in a nice sequence. So it's definitely going to help. So planning is really important. So it's an important part of your preparation. So how do you, if you've taken the test before, how have you planned your short talk? Have you practiced on different topics? No. So Gaji said yes. Sujana, no. Futran, not much. Okay. Ahi. Okay. So a lot of people are saying no. So you must get into the habit. Yeah. So Ahi says some common topics. Yeah. Malik, using memorized phrases. Okay, well, I'll talk about that at the end. Okay. So let's have a look at planning. So you don't just want to describe the place, you want to add some details, some background information will give you some context. Yeah, so tell the examiner as much as you possibly can. You can about the topic. And then, so have a look at this. What extra information do you think you could give about these photos? So what about this? What extra information do you think you could give about this? So we described earlier what it looked like. Could you give any extra information? Trekking, yeah, good, Samritra. What might you do there? Misty? Okay, anything else? Greenery, high mountains, skiing maybe? What about this one? What are those at the front there? To Hong Kong, yeah. When, where, how to get there. Kashmir, yeah, good. What about the second? Kayak, yeah, good. So what might you do? Adventure sports, yeah, Samitra, good. Camping, yeah, very good. So there we go. What about this one? Okay, so kayaking. Yeah, how do you? Friends. So you're with friends. So you can describe who you're with. What about this one? Yeah, your journey, you could describe. Calm sea. Sunrise, yeah, good. Okay. What about the last one? Adventure with my friends, yeah, good. Setting up tents, yeah. Barbecue, wild experience, dangerous situation, escape from danger, good. Yeah, adventure, yeah, good. Okay. So one thing you can do, so we've got the main topic in the middle. Who knows what this is? Has anyone used them before? Do you know what it is? Do you know what we call this? Anyone know what this is? Anyone used them before? So I'm just waiting for responses to come through. There's a little bit of a delay on the chat. Anyone know what this is? Well, it's what we call a mind map. Yeah, they call it a mind map. So it's one thing you can do to help you prepare. Okay, so you can put the topic in there and you can have separate bullet points around the main topic. So what you can do depends on what you're talking about, obviously, but you can have 3 to 6 key headings. And then you can use the prompts in the headings to help you if you need it. And then, so ideas and useful vocab for each one of those bullet points you can put in there. So they're good things to practice. So when you're practicing, try using a mind map. So we've got where, when, So what would go in where? There's a little bit of a delay on the chat box. So what is going to go in where? Ah, now they're coming. Okay, so A, so Kenai Fjords on the south coast of Alaska. When? So what's going to go in number 2? Tabitha, yeah. Okay. Number 3. Okay. Number 4. Okay. So love nature and the outdoors. What? Okay. F. Okay. So kayaking, so some of you mentioned that, and also wildlife watching. Weather. Okay, yeah, I'm here. 7, food. Yeah, good. And then finally, E, the last one. So recommend. Okay. So by doing this, it's just going to help you structure it. Yeah. What you're going to talk about. Okay. Now remember, you can only put bullet points. You're not going to be able to write full sentences in 1 minute. Okay. So you're just going to have to put the bullet points in there. Yeah. So a restaurant I recently visited, or I visited recently. Yeah. So what would you put in there? What headings could you put in there? Okay. I think there's a little bit of a delay on the chat box, guys, so we'll just have to be patient because we have a lot of attendees today. Well, think about the previous one. So you could have similar bullet points. Yeah. So where, Victoria? Yeah. What else? Oh, I'm here. Okay. Very good. Very good. So when? Okay. Why? So why would you go to a restaurant? Could be a birthday. Yeah, someone leaving. So what food? What else could you put in? Yeah. Okay. Atmosphere. What was it like inside? Was it busy? Was it quiet? Was the decoration nice? Yeah. Anna, exactly. Service. Yeah. Who you were with? Yeah, that's number 3. Okay. So good or bad, what was your experience like? Was the service good? Was the service bad? Were there any problems when you were there? Yeah. Okay. And then would you recommend it? So this will be a good way to mind map a restaurant I recently visited. So you can see the main bullet points, and then you can scribble underneath the bullet points some key features that you're going to talk about. Okay. So service, yeah, that could go good, bad. So not just about the food. Okay. So here we've got quite a lot of bullet points. So you'd be speaking, let's say 15 seconds on each bullet point. If you had fewer than maybe 20 seconds about each heading. Okay. And then you can use linking expressions, add details. Yeah. Right. So we've got our talk. So what we're going to talk about. So we can use another approach. So in this approach, rather than a mind map, we can tell a story. And then again, this helps with your structure. And it doesn't need to be exciting. It could be about anything. So for example, maybe you missed a bus, you lost your phone, the plane was delayed. Okay, so there could be lots of different things you could talk about. Yeah. So what story could you tell based on these photographs then? So what story do you think you could tell based on these photos? Family, it could be family. It could be the reason you took the trip, food trip. Yeah. Camping with friends. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Feeling of being in nature. Yeah. Yeah. Leisure time, holiday from work. Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, rafting with friends and then came across a bear. Yeah. Okay, good. So what's going to go where? So here's a simple structure. So what do you think is going where? So number one. So what's going to go in number one? So what do you think is going to go in number one? Yeah, I mean, good. So introduction. Yeah. What we're going to put in number two. So remember the topic. So remember what it said on the topic. Yeah, I mean, good. So we're going to put in the past. Oops. Well, I'll give you that one. Four. What's going to go in the four? Yeah, there's a little delay in the chat because we've got a lot of students today. Okay, I'll give it to you. Yeah, Han's got it. So last is going to be the future. Okay, good. So what you're going to speak about is in the introduction. and then why. Okay, so you'll give your reason, and then where were you living, for example, could go in the past. What were you doing? And then what happened? Okay, and then did you have a good time, or was it a bad experience? Or would you recommend it, or would you not recommend it? Now, a lot of students think you always have to talk about something positive, but that's not necessarily the case. So it doesn't always have to be a good experience. It could also be a bad experience. And would you do it again? Yeah. Would you like to go back? Okay. So just take a few seconds to have a look at that. Okay, I'll just leave that structure there so you can have a look at it. And then we'll have a look at ours. So let's have a look at the introduction. So a beautiful place I visited in Alaska. So it's a little bit short. How do you think you could develop that? How do you think you could develop it? So how do you think you could develop that? Okay, good. Okay, good. Okay, let's have a look. So we'll use an introductory phrase. So today I'd like to talk about, or the place I'd like to talk about is the place I went on holiday. So you can paraphrase the topic and use some relative clauses. Okay. So what's going to go in the box? Now I can't see the box because my chat box is in the way. So what's going to go in the box? Okay, so which would go in the box? Now, oops. The place is called Kenai Fjords. So what's going to go in there? Okay, home, yeah. Located in the southern part of Alaska. And then we'll give a reason. I chose to talk about this place. So what are we going to use to give a reason? Okay, because the time I spent there was one of the most amazing experiences of my life. Good. So now we're going to look at the restaurant. So what are you going to put in the gaps there? What would you put in the gaps? Yeah, that's good. Mustafa, yeah. Yeah, very good. Now think about the restaurant. So we looked at the restaurant after the place. Today I'd like to talk about anything you could do for the restaurant. Okay, so today I'd like to talk about a restaurant. The restaurant is called, and then which is located in, or I chose to talk about this restaurant because, okay. So a number of different ways you can start. So where were you living? What were you doing? So we can use a signposting expression here. But first, let me give a bit more. So what would you put in the gap there? So what do you think would go in the gap there? Beginning with B. So we looked at it at the beginning. Okay, it looks like I've got a slow chat box here, guys. Doesn't seem to be working. So background, okay? Let me give you a bit more background. And then we will give that. So at the time, so we're going to use past. Oops. So remember past. Ikun, that's good for the last one. Yeah, good. I was there with my friends. So what's going to go in the gap there? So think about tenses. Ikun, yeah, I'll put that in. Good. Oops. There we go. So what's going to go in the gap? There seems to be a bit of a delay on my chat box, guys. Okay, I've been working there for 5 years. And 2 of my close friends. So what do you think would go in that gap? Had. What do you think is going to go in there? Okay, we could say just left the school where we. So what's going to go in there? Okay, what would you put in the gap? Okay, I'll just fill it in then. It seems the chat box doesn't want to work today. Okay. We were. So what do you think you'll put in the gap there? Okay, now it's working. Yeah, GC background, good. Yeah. Okay, my chat box is working again. Good. What if you make a decision? What do you do? Beginning with D. Yeah, good. Decided. So, to celebrate. Okay, so we'll go on. So what happened? Again, we can use a signpost phrase. Anyway, when, so again, past simple because we're talking about the past. Yeah, Putran, that's good. So when we got there, we could see what all the fuss was about. So what would you put in the gap? The previous slide, okay. I'll quickly do that. Okay. Okay, Jayashree, quickly, because we've still got quite a bit to go through. Okay. So, okay. Yeah. We went kayaking to a glacier. And then the wildlife that we saw, so different wildlife, sea otters, seals, puffins, eagles. Okay, good. Just before we left, so what happened? A bear, what? Came, okay, good. And what did you have to do? Yeah, good. We, yeah, had to chase him away by throwing stones. Brave person. So, was it a good experience? Would you recommend it to others? So, so what are you going to put there? In my, yeah, good opinion. If you like the outdoors, Alaska is what we're going to put in there. Destination. So, a place you would go. Okay, destination. Perfect holiday destination. It has, so what would you put in the gap there? Last slide, Jan. Okay, I'll quickly do that. Okay, so be quick. Okay. So I gave you that one, unspoiled nature, lots of different. So what are they doing there? What would we call that beginning with an A? If you do something active, it is. So activities, and then what to encounter wild animals in the wild. Yeah, Joanna, good. Okay, chance. Very good. Now, I'll just let you have a look at that quickly. Okay. Well, we won't get a chance to go on a restaurant today, Jonas. Okay, future, would you do it again? Why not? So, what do you think you'd put in the gaps there? Okay, Athala, no problem, bye. Right. Finally, with something to the future. So you're ending off. So because you've been sequencing also, you can use finally with something to the future. Beginning with R. So with regards to the future, Amir. Okay, good. Love to go. I feel like I only small part. Yeah, Raj, good. Good. Epidemic, yeah, good. I'll give you this. Experienced a small spot part. Okay, good. All right, let me just let you have a look at that. Okay, hopefully my voice is clear, Mohammed. I think because we've had so many students today, the chat box has been a little bit unstable. So it's caused some delay. Hopefully everything is okay now. So here we go. So you've got the structure: introduction, past, description, opinion, future. So what can you do to improve? So use the outline, the plan, a short talk. And then one thing that I always recommend is to record yourself. Everyone has a smartphone now, so you can record yourself, okay? And then play it back, see if you made any mistakes, and also you can time yourself to see how long it took you. Okay, now it looks like my screen is frozen. Hopefully you can still hear me. So hopefully, okay, I'm back. So use the outline, as I was saying, if you didn't hear me, use the outline that we've looked at today. Okay, so use the outline, okay, we did today. That's going to help you, and record yourself. And then listen, review, how long have you been talking for? Did you manage to speak for the whole 2 minutes or almost 2 minutes? Now, if you don't speak long enough, the examiner will actually ask you, can you tell me anything more about that? So if the examiner says, can you tell me anything more about that, then you haven't been speaking for at least 1 minute 30. So you'll have to give extra information, okay? So after 1 minute 30, the examiner is not likely to ask you, can you tell me anything more about that? Because it's going to probably run too close. So it's important to listen to the examiner's prompt as well. Okay. Right. Now we look at some questions. We did start 5 minutes late, so I'm happy to go 5 minutes over. All right. But before we do that, just check some of the links out that we have for our premium services. So obviously we've got experienced teachers and former IELTS examiners that can, before you take the test, or if you're planning to take the test, then you can have a speaking and writing evaluation, and that then will give you an approximate band score and advice on which areas you need to improve on. Okay, if you go to IELTS Online Tests, you can see our up-and-coming webinars. Yeah, and also we've got some listening reading videos on the website. So these are our premium services. Check out our YouTube channel. So the webinars will go up there. So if you missed something and you weren't clear about something, you can have a look on there. All right. And then also we have our Facebook group. So yeah, I know there were a few technical problems today. I think that's just because we had a lot of students. So the traffic is going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot of traffic. So let me see if I can quickly answer some of your questions. So if you have a question, please put it in the Q&A at the top. Now, one thing I wanted to mention before I do this is one student mentioned about memorizing some useful phrases. I wouldn't do that because there's a lot of schools that teach students to memorize useful things. Now, what happens then is the examiner comes across the same responses to the questions all the time. So it's okay if you're doing that on your own, yeah, but be very, very careful if someone is teaching you to memorize, or you've been to a school that's teaching you to memorize, because the examiner will know that and they will catch you out in part 3, because the examiner will make the questions up themselves in part 3, okay? So Radney says, when will the mark released for January to April? Ooh, I think you mean marks. Or do you mean the booklet for the questions? I'm not sure. Z, is it better to keep talking until we are stopped by the examiner? Yes. So listen to the examiner prompts. So the examiner is going to say, I'm going to give you a topic. I'd like you to talk about it for 1 to 2 minutes. Before you talk, you'll have 1 minute to think about what you're going to say. Do you understand? Yes. And then they're going to hand you the pen and pad. Now, here's a pad and pen for make notes, and here's your booklet. I'd like you to talk about, and then your 1 minute starts. Then the examiner will go, all right, remember, you have 1 to 2 minutes for this, so don't worry if I stop you. I'll tell you when the time is up. Can you start speaking now for me, please? And then just speak until the examiner will go like that, or thank you, or something like that, and then they will stop you. Yeah. But don't worry, the examiner will prompt you if you haven't spoken for long enough. Okay. And stop you when you need to stop. Okay, Manjula, no problem. Maham, how do you answer with yes and no? A few examples, please. Well, you're talking about part 3 here, Maham. Yeah. Well, it'd probably be part 3 questions. Yes, I agree. I also think that blah, blah, blah. No, I don't think I agree with that because it depends, Maham, on what the questions are, really. Yeah. Is it okay to fool the examiner? Z says, now, I'm guessing you're talking about making up a question. Well, you can. I'm sure that the examiner's not going to know whether you've made that up or not. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. Yeah. Okay. Nelly, the examiner will tell you when the 2 minutes is up. Then what the examiner will actually tell you, okay, when the 2 minutes is up. Z, should I speak formally? Well, I wouldn't throw a lot of slang words in. Yeah, obviously you're going to be using contractions. Yeah, I'd like to go back there again. I wouldn't recommend it to a friend. Yeah. So, Jonas, let's have a look. Would we lose marks if we don't cover all points listed on the card? No, you wouldn't, because the examiner has to grade you according to the whole test. Okay, so they're looking at part 1, part 2, part 3 as a whole. So they're not just looking at one area. So you don't have to worry if you think you've messed up in part 2 or maybe part 1. You can pick that up. You can still get a good score. The examiner knows that you're going to be a little nervous. All right, so don't worry too much about that. Okay, what else have we got? Is it necessary to use a good range of vocabulary to score 7? Roma, yeah. So what you need to do is you need to have a good range of vocabulary. So that means you're using collocations, so words that go together. It was freezing cold when we were camping. Yeah. So freezing cold obviously is a collocation, so you have good knowledge of that. So the better range of vocab you have, the better. So simple vocabulary is only going to keep you to a 7. Yeah. Let me just see that. Samana, how many sentences per each section? Well, it's difficult to say. So remember, part 1, you don't want to expand too much. The examiner is going to have 12 questions to ask you, and they must get through those in 5 minutes, within 5 minutes. So you don't want to expand too much, okay? Otherwise, the examiner is going to interrupt you, yeah? Part 2, just follow the examiner's prompts, and then part 3, then it's more of a discussion with you and the examiner, all right? So you should be expanding more in part 3, and the answers might be, your answers may be, or the questions may be a little bit more abstract. Yeah. So, for example, let's have a look. For Charlie, if we stumble a little while we take time to think, will that portray a negative impression? Well, if you're pausing or repeating yourself, then that is going to cause some problems, all right? So you don't want to pause too long and you don't want to repeat yourself. So, for example, I would like to talk about, so, yeah. Bala, is part 2 always linked to part 3? Well, part 3 questions are always linked to the part 2 topic. Yeah, particularly the first 3, then the examiner may link the questions back to those first 3 questions. Okay. So linking expressions, so you can use a lot of those, Bala. Yeah, so for example, yeah. So on one hand, on the other, yeah. So there's lots of different linking expressions that you can use. Okay, right. Maham, I think I answered that question. We've got time for maybe 2 more questions. Let's have a look. Interesting question. Sumitra says, is there a rate of speech I should go on with or talk at? So I think basically you have to be speaking at a similar speed that I'm speaking now, maybe a little faster. Remember, we've got lots of different people from lots of different countries. So I have to slow my speech down slightly so everyone can grasp what I'm saying. So maybe slightly faster than I'm talking, or maybe the same speed would be okay. But you don't want slow speech. Whatever you do, don't speak very slowly, because that will only get a 5. So slow speech is not good. Salaram, what should we do if we don't understand the examiner's question? Well, you can ask the examiner to repeat the question. They can only do that once in part 1. If it's part 3, you can ask the examiner if they can rephrase the question. I'm sorry, could you rephrase the question for me, please? In part 1, you would have to say, could you repeat the question for me, please? Yeah. Okay, guys, just be careful about sharing personal information on the chat box, because obviously we've got a lot of people here, so we can't take any responsibility for anything should it happen if people are sharing their details. So be careful with who you're sharing your personal details with. Okay, guys? Right, let me see if I can have one more question, if this is going to work for me. Looks like I've frozen again. Not sure if you can hear me. Looks like I've frozen again. Abidemi, how do you answer a question you don't understand? Well, basically, if your preparation should help you to be able to understand the question. So have a look at what topics are being used at the moment, and then you can brainstorm vocabulary, if you were, to get that question. Okay? If you really don't understand, it's better to say something rather than nothing. But remember, in part 3, you can ask the examiner to rephrase the question. Okay? Now, it looks like I'm totally frozen. Okay, I'm back. Okay, guys. So I hope you found it useful. I hope you managed to hear all of my responses, okay? And before we disappear, I'll just copy some links and then you can check these out rather than try and copy the links on the page. So just give me a second. I'll pop them in the chat box for you before we disappear. Okay. Okay. If it's going to work, paste, paste, paste. So there's one link for you guys. There we go. I'll paste another one for you. Our YouTube channel. So you can copy and paste these yourselves. Okay. Paste, paste, paste. There's a YouTube channel, guys. And then lessons. Okay. You're welcome, Matt. Yeah, suddenly through reading questions can be. So check out some of our videos on the YouTube channel. Okay, one more. I'm glad you found it helpful for Charlie. And then one more link coming up for you guys, and then we can disappear. Facebook group, those of you who use it. So just remember, it is a good idea to maybe have an assessment before you take the test rather than spend a lot of money and keep repeating and repeating and repeating the test. So, you know, have a look at what we do. I'm not sure if you can hear me, but it looks like I've completely frozen. Oh dear, 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 dear. Okay. Ah, back. Last link for you guys, and then we can disappear. Okay. Everyone's leaving, so it keeps freezing. Okay. Not sure if you got this, but there you go. Okay, guys, hope you found it useful. Those of you on holiday, enjoy your time off. I'll see you soon. Make sure you check our page out, okay, to see the up and coming webinars. All right, guys, hope you found this useful. Few small technical problems today, but that's okay. Nothing major, we got through. Okay, guys, those of you who are taking the test soon, good luck and see you soon. Bye for now.